Welcome back to the Open for Business podcast. My name's Anthony Murphy, and today we are talking to Aoife O'Connell, who is the founder of Yarnly.ai, a chatbot marketing agency based in Sydney, Australia. Now, we've all had pretty, terrible experiences with a chatbot in the past, right? You get that scripted one-line welcome message in Messenger or on a platform, and that's it. Nothing else happens. Not a great user experience. However, Aoife and her business flip that on its head. They create really rich, engaging, value-based chatbots which help drive actual business results. So today we're talking to Aoife about, what is a chatbot first and foremost, how Facebook Messenger bots work, chatbot examples and how you can get subscribers with your chatbot, and of course, how to get started with your very own bot. So if chatbots are of any interest to you, if you're looking to take advantage of the conversation marketing wave, it's something that's not going away. It's only going to get more and more prevalent. So if you are ready to take the leap and learn about how you can use a chatbot in your business to drive real results and create a memorable experience online for your customers, listen in. Aoife, thank you so much for joining us on the Open for Business podcast. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
So we, just for everybody listening in, a bit of context, we connected not long ago down in Melbourne at the Future Social Media Strategy Forum. Yes, it is a mouthful. And it was a great day all around, and you presented on that day as well, talking all things chatbots. And I'll get you to give us a little bit of background on yourself and your business and fill everybody in.
Yeah, sure. I'm Aoife O'Connell, and I am the founder of Yarnly.ai, which is an artificial intelligence agency driven by human connection, and we're located in the beautiful Sydney, Australia. So,
love it.
That's it. We help basically this generation of small to medium businesses drive their sales, their service, their customer experience by applying the next generation of marketing, and that is chat marketing, which is chatbots, and going into voice skill in 2020, next year.
Awesome. Sounds great. Now, I know that there'll be several people who are listening or watching to this that hear the word chatbot, and for some, they will just dismiss it. For others, they will freak out a little bit, and for others, they still don't know what it is. So in layman's terms, can you tell us, the chatbots that you deal with, what does that sort of involve?
Yes, our chatbots are basically an extension of Facebook Messenger chatbot experience. So they're one-to-one personalized, basically conversations for a brand to be able to service their customer needs 24/7. So for instance, if you are running, a lot of social advertising, which Facebook advertising or Instagram advertising, we are an extension of that strategy because we can service it end to end. Mm-hmm. So once you click through, we can bring you through to a conversation and have immediate, information on your business or alternatively on your offer. The value of clicking through and staying in that ecosystem is we're playing in Zuckerberg's world. So, your cost per click is supported, and just that overall frictionless experience is supported. 8 months ago, there's a national conference, F8, which is probably, in media and agency world, it's very much on our radar. And, Zuckerberg announces where he's taking this ecosystem. And he's gone from the analogy of a digital town square, which is, that Facebook world of having that news feed, where friends and family come to share information, but he wants to migrate that into a private one-to-one personalized conversation, but it's a private environment. So he's kind of calling it like a living room environment. Yep. So they're pivoting the overarching strategy to this direction, and that's essentially where chatbots are coming into it. It's the technology's bolted out of the gates the last 2-3 years to be able to help agencies like ourselves build meaningful, interactive human conversations that can with your customers immediately. This is not a dirty robotic kind of automated conversation. This is really an extension and a your brand. And I think we're certainly moving away from, 2019, probably 2017 to 2019, this ecosystem has evolved, and moving into the next decade, I think we're moving away from the science, which was all this technology that happened, and we're moving into the art, the creative flair,
Yes.
iOS updating, the ability to have, animojis, the ability to have floating balloons, GIFs, like it's communication is happening, and that's what chat marketing is. And I think even, statistically, when you're looking at people where voice lost out, text has gained. People don't call each other anymore to communicate.
Yeah.
And that's chatbots. Chatbots is essentially just the technology to help enable the conversation that we can automate at scale. We're in chat marketing, and we're about nurturing those relationships, and it's getting to know those consumers on a one-to-one personalized basis. And we haven't been able to do that before, whereas, the most likely comparable is email marketing, whereas that's been a proactive, push out of content with block layers. And you're hoping that one of those, 3 topics that you're sharing in an email that will hit the mark. Whereas with chat marketing and with a chatbot, you're actually inviting the user into an experience for them to dictate their journey.
Yes.
They can select the information. The value of it from a small to medium brand is that we can tag up those experiences in the back end. So, if they're interested in a certain pair of shoes or a certain size or, a certain type of item your business is selling, then we actually can attribute that back to that customer specifically to the detail.
Yeah.
And I think that's the value moving forward. So, it's certainly a world that is misunderstood, and it's certainly a world that is unaware, and it's an evolving world. So I think it's just to think of it like social media in 1997 when ads got launched. Yeah. It's this is where we're at, and you need to be aware of it.
Yeah, like you literally just took the words out of my mouth there, where like a lot of people listening in will have, they'll think of a chatbot experience that they've had, in the past or recently, and, it's probably been pretty poor. And we're at the point now where, as you said, Zuckerberg is, the direction that Facebook's going is, more private. It's conversation based. So the word conversation marketing is being bandied around a lot more now. But it's, that's what's happening today. Like, we were saying that, we met at the Future Social Media Strategy Forum, but like this is, what's happening now. As you said, people don't call each other anymore. It's text based. It's, it's conversation online. And as you also said, we're at that point where so many people have still not sort of experienced the potential. They don't understand the amount of things that you can do with a chatbot to really say, yes, that's something that I should invest some time and money into for my business, because they just still don't understand the potential. So what are some ideas, like you just mentioned before, about being able to, tag different subscribers and people that you do have a conversation with? Like, what are some other examples that, a small to medium-sized enterprise could use a chatbot for and get some return on investment? Like, it's not just a fluffy, shiny object. Like, you've obviously got clients that are making returns on investment. It's working really well for them. So have you got some examples that you could share around that?
Yeah, I mean, specifically quick wins off the bat, and coming back to your point, it's kind of that evolution of people have had experiences when they've been predominantly really crap, and it's warranted. We're just in that watershed moment. So I guess it's kind of don't judge until you can see the overall strategic approach. So what we've been doing for our current clients who are capitalizing immediately on it is large percent are small to medium brands or personalities that have been born and raised on Instagram. Yep. That's one particular client or niche that we happen to be, I guess, working with a lot, is because, they are vulnerable to, Facebook and Instagram shutting down, and, they have over 100,000 or millions of followers. What happens to that audience, and what happens to that business thereafter? So from a strategic perspective, we have been able to incorporate ad strategies into their social media activity. So, when they're swiping up in stories, they're going directly into the chatbot because of that link will take you specifically in there. Then, coming back to the strategy, it's supported really effectively because, you are going into another asset that Zuck owns, so he wants you to stay there. So again, that's the value of it. You're not going off-site to another website or a landing page that you need to and then come back. You're going into his ecosystem. So he's really supportive of this. So if you're playing now, you're benefiting now, and you're going to win in the end, right? So that's this. So swiping up in stories, bringing them into the chatbot, largely gamification type of campaigns. What's a quiz, going in to win a particular item. If they can actually select the prize that they want to win as well. So, once they select a particular prize they want, we can tag them up into, segments of wanting or being that customer, appropriate customer for that product. So that's kind of one issue. So by doing that, we're able to collect information from them. Again, the frictionless experience, because we're staying in the back end of Facebook, we're automatically pulling in the mobile numbers and email addresses of those accounts. They do authorize it, the user authorizes it, but they don't have to type in that information. So if you can imagine, a general opt-in for a competition takes, a minute, 2 minutes, whatever that is. With a bot, it's literally in seconds. So that's just one particular kind of place that we're working with them at the moment, is to be able to help businesses IP that have large communities. And then, just coming back to bricks and mortar, like we were talking just previously before we jumped on, was, coffee shops or, just people that are in that service-based industry. A bot it's bringing that offline community online. And I think that's the whole premise with Yarnly. We're very passionate about helping small to medium businesses, and predominantly bots and kind of AI was only really affordable and available to large enterprise. But literally the last 18 months, this is helping, families, small, medium business is like be able to take offline, online and grow that audience and be able to engage with their community and get them back into stores by delivering them offers, by, delivering them pieces of value. So with that kind of strategic approach, you can opt into a chatbot by QR codes that are in the store, they go into that experience to claim that discount. And then, you're engaging with them offline and bringing them into the marketing ecosystem. So that's really important.
And going back to the whole frictionless side of things, like, we spend so much of our lives in our smart devices, right? And on our mobile phones, and basically everything that's on that phone is an app, right? We're using, notes apps, we're using social media apps, we're using, time tracking apps, we're using all these different apps. And where the chatbot world, integrates so seamlessly is because it is all in an app, and it all is connected in, Facebook's family of apps. So that there is no friction, and you can, it's just simple touches of buttons. Instead of being redirected to a landing page, having to wait for that to load, then having to type in all your details, you might have to zoom the screen in if it's not mobile optimized, all this sort of stuff, which nobody has any time for these days. You can just make a, as you and I being marketers, our goal is to create a fantastic experience for people in the digital world. And that is where the chatbot, the messenger chatbot, works so well, because it's just click of buttons. It's just seamless. It's, you can pop up notifications. It just makes it really, really simple. So there's heaps of value in that.
And this is just currently where the puck is lying, right?
That's right. Yeah, early days.
2-3 years. I mean, chat marketing isn't going to be predominantly social platform specific. APIs are working, are opening up everywhere. And the main thing that we're focusing on is RCS, which is, it's called Rich Communication Services. So basically the native app that is on iOS's, that, iMessage, it's basically default into, iOS's. It's like 55% of US phones or something have text capability, and that means that population has text capability. And the RCS is basically Google is trying to essentially gather the multi-million telecoms to be able to come on board to have negotiation to basically open up their capability. So we're moving from, and SMSs can go to everything, right? It doesn't, it's not device agnostic. So SMS 2.0, if you like, it's going to incorporate quick replies. It's going to incorporate stickers. You're going to be able to have a business's number with a profile attached to it. And this is kind of where the ecosystem is going. It's not just predominantly social, it's communication. And, where people communicate with their family and friends, businesses follow. So it's, the world is emerging. It's definitely, marketing has certainly changed. And that's where I guess we've carved our little position within the marketplace as kind of that marketer of the future, trying to just to stop, but helping businesses now, and educating them now that it's the entry to barrier to play in this space is actually very nominal, in comparison to, what it was maybe, or didn't exist probably, 2 years ago.
And I think the next question that I'd love to ask is, how an SME owner gets into chatbot marketing. But before that, what I wanted to say was, because it is early days, you can create a extremely memorable experience if you do this properly. Because you are a front runner, because so many people have bad experiences, you can, without having to completely reinvent the wheel, provide people with a really memorable experience and really, put your brand out there by jumping in now and, putting in the work to create a great, chatbot experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And coming even back to, when we're having businesses struggle with social media success and they're not getting the engagement and that large scale content, moving, obviously, we're looking at this private landscape. We're going to be having content that is specific to those segments in a private messaging experience.
Yeah.
You're going to have a lot of analytics. You're going to have a lot of rich data. The ROI on using influencer marketing, that world is absolutely changing with AI.
Yes.
And it's very interesting to see what the future will hold. And again, coming back to the now, we are having crappy experiences because creativity wise and, all full in buy-in of CMOs going, right, here's full, there you go, do the strategy. They need to have that nurturing, right? And I think that's where we've defaulted in the last 6 months, is to be able to bring people on the journey so we can actually show them the value. Whereas I'm finding small to medium businesses have an opportunity right now because they don't have that level of political kind of traction that they have to do within the organization. They can actually hand over a strategy to experts in the field to really leverage it as to your point, and the audience in this closed private environment. And the content's going to be a lot more specific, but it's not going to be as public as what we're used to in social.
Yeah, exactly. So for anybody who is, liking the sound of this and thinking that it's something that they should look into a bit more, what sort of, programs do people need to know about, or how do you get into the chatbot space?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it's very easy to get into it now. There's multiple programs out there like Chatfuel and ManyChat and Mobile Monkey. And we specifically align with ManyChat. Michael Yang is the CMO and co-founder, and his vision, mission, and his values is very aligned to where we want to do business.
Perfect.
Also, I think they just secured in the last VC round 80 million to be able to, perpetuate or lift their whole strategy up. So within the whole ecosystem from a tech stack, they're certainly leaders in the field. They're in bed with Facebook as well, which is always a good thing.
Yes.
So that is one I definitely support any business owner or marketer. Literally start a ManyChat account.
Yep.
Look under the hood and start. And then, where we come in, it's like anything. It's just evolving a strategy and actually looking at that whole ecosystem, tagging it up, using the data. And actually that customer journey and that creative layer. So that's where Yarnly's offering comes in, is to bring the smarts behind what's working well, what's working not, so you don't have to figure it out.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. And for the SME owner that says, they're thinking, yep, sounds good, I really need to look into this. As you said, it is really easy to start. If you look at, we use ManyChat here on a much more limited level than what Yarnly does. But one thing that we do with new clients coming on board is make sure that they have a ManyChat account set up for their Facebook page so that they are getting subscribers every time somebody messages their Facebook page. So that's like just a really quick win for people. It's just simply signing up for an account, getting connected, and it'll do the rest. So even from a really basic level, you can start to get some quick wins. And as Aoife said earlier, it's similar to an email list. When somebody subscribes, somebody messages your business page, they then opt in and become a subscriber, and you can broadcast back to them. So really quick win there. And then for the
value of hiring you, right? Because you set that up and ensure that you're actually protecting their IP and their strategy moving forward. So
that's right.
So simple, but that's why you get people that are in the know.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Can you give us a little bit more detail on, some entry level stuff that people should be aware of if they jump over to ManyChat, sign up for an account? Yep. What's some of the first things they should look at doing?
Jump in. Basically, it's as easy as ABC, to be honest. They make
kind of steps you through it, doesn't it, really?
To be honest, yeah. I think a 5-year-old could do it. So there shouldn't be too much friction there in regards to it. ManyChat do a free course. So I'd certainly recommend anyone that's interested to sign up into that. Get the basics down, because even as clients in our world, we actually do encourage them and their teams to do those type of courses so they can understand the ecosystem they're actually we're pivoting and maneuvering into. I guess again, coming in when you get a bit more detailed and are relying heavily on strategy within your chat marketing, this ecosystem is new. It doesn't come without policies and procedures that you have to align with. And Facebook has strict guidelines on what you can do and what you can't do from a proactive messaging to your community. If you break those T's and C's, your account can be closed. And I think that's a large percentage of the clients that come to us as well, because they've been playing cowboys, and they were like, oh my God, this is amazing. We're getting open rates of 95% with absolutely terrible messaging going out to those consumer base. Have been blocked because, it's about experience, and it's about that quality of experience. So we help dig them out of those holes. But it's not, that's probably the biggest thing from a small to me, to get involved, but certainly don't go against the grain in regards to the policies and them and what you can and can't do, because you will actually get your page banned. So that's probably the one highlight, but definitely incorporate it into your strategy for sure. Do the course, and that's probably the best starting point.
I agree. I think even from the point of view, like, let's say that we all agree that conversation marketing and just communicating with prospects, clients, customers is really important, and that's the way the future is going. Even if we look at like current social media practice of an image or a video, maybe just posted out onto a page, and it sort of just sits there. Like, if we look at how things are constantly changing and evolving, right, that sort of social media 5 to 10 years ago, right, that was all the rage, heaps of organic reach, all that sort of stuff. Nowadays it's so easy for people just to scroll past static images or even video in the news feed. Where you can stand out is by using a chatbot that, people can leave a comment, and it connects with ManyChat, connects with a bot. You can get them into Messenger. You can create different experiences. Like you said, you've had clients where you're able to overlay like balloons and all sorts of different things that pop up when they hit Messenger and all this sort of stuff. So you can really separate yourself from the competition. I think if you're in a really competitive niche, if you're in a competitive industry, like, instead of just doing the same thing that everybody's doing and trying to pump out a heap of content onto your feed, think about the experience, change it up, and just create something that wows people.
I love that statement, because I think even coming back to the whole formula of art and science and what you can do, we really are. Digital marketers are lazy. They've gotten really shitty lazy. Audiences are overstimulated, they're bored, and we need to start getting creative. And for us and for our values, that what we're bringing is, we call that out. We don't want to have static TVCs cut down to a 30-second wrap that we're going to push out. It's just not going to fly for us. And I think you're silly to be staying static in that media landscape, and I think that's where for us anyway, certainly we're very kind of across the technology capability. We're across the ecosystem. We're across what we can do as a strategy right now, and what we're focusing on in 2020 in the next decade is that creative. We need to bring the creatives on this journey, and they need to get smarter, and they need to be aware what kind of experiences we can create, so then they can actually bring in their smarts into the agenda. For instance, our latest hire, which I'm looking at now, is for TikTok. Funny, because we don't service TikTok. The reason why I'm saying TikTok is because I believe, personally, watching what's happening in the landscape, that's the creators of the next decade. We're actually going to currently hire 14, 15-year-olds to be able to come in and actually recut our videos. The whole kind of, I guess, platform, and to respect TikTok as a platform, it's 15-second serves of content telling your story. I don't know any big brand that can tell a story in 15 seconds, because their brain they're just looking too deeply into what they're trying to portray. Whereas 14, or people that are playing in this space, the creators coming out of that area is phenomenal. We haven't seen nothing yet.
Yeah.
So they're the ones that we're bringing in to, again, bring that kind of experience and really capturing, a brand experience and getting people involved and enjoying your content so that they actually stick with it. So that's kind of our strategy as well.
It's a funny thing. I just thought too how, as consumers, our adoption can be quite slow, but then also our expectations are very high. So, even though a high percentage of the general public doesn't necessarily understand or can't create a great chatbot experience, we kind of expect it. Like we know that we're online if we head to somebody's messenger or their business page and then get sent to their messenger, and it's just the default. Thanks for messaging us. We'll be back with you soon. We get that and we go, oh, well, that's kind of rubbish, isn't it? Whereas if we get this great experience, we kind of expect it, but we still enjoy it. So it's a funny trade-off. And I think that's where, as you said before, putting in the effort, and in the future, moving forward, working on that creative and just doing something that's different and just give people, a great experience. I keep saying it, but it's just so important.
And it's not even just a point, it's not different for different sake. It's actually how people are consuming, and it's
true.
The generation that is evolving and growing in. They've grown up with mobiles. I mean, I'm older than the internet, for God's sake. People die when they hear that. I remember dial-up.
Yes.
I'm in Sydney 10 years now, and I moved over before smartphones. Oh, I think it was the first one. I think I had the 3, but I had to buy Samsung did a Skype phone, actually, funnily enough. And in the middle, and there was a Skype button, and you pressed that, and my mum and dad had one, and that's how we communicated. Because call credit was like you'd spend $20 and you had one. So even when we're looking at the, how people are communicating, this is how there's an expectation coming back to it. There's an expectation of quality experience, and certainly they know when it's not to standard. So people have to be aware of that ecosystem changing and get on board and communicate how people are communicating. And that's the value of a small to medium business. They can do it now. They don't have the political landscape that they have to maneuver to, be the Telsters of the world to have a crappy bot experience. And, coming back to the value, they're trying to answer different type of business problems by service layer and the quantity of people coming in to, have an issue or, it's a different model there from a large enterprise, whereas, we can really effectively drive sales, drive engagement, and just get the peoples into your bricks and mortar store, really.
Love it. What type of business does Yarnly, really suit for anybody that's out there thinking, look, I need to have a bit more of a chat with Aoife? Is there a particular niche or niches or industries that you guys are really, really suited to?
No, to be honest, it's mindset for us. We work with people that are open to this space, to be honest. Any particular niche isn't we've dealt from, art galleries to e-com to oh God, what else do we have? We have beauticians, multiple different industries. It really it's a vast space. We don't specifically niche in that regard. It's more about mindset. It's more being aware of what is happening from a communication layer. We deal with an awful lot of female businesses, and that's a very strong pillar for us because, Yarnly's mission offsite is to empower, enable, and employ female and mother talent. So we have a different stream of our business to be able to educate them and actually, get across AI, get across the technology of the future so that they can, be digital marketers of the future. So we have a very strong passion to be able to help support parents that take time out to have their kids and they don't default into not being have the skill set. So we work with a lot of females just naturally. So, but that's not exclusive. Mid-tier enterprise is probably where we're sitting. But it's really mindset. It's really about people investing in us to teach them. And that's kind of where we're naturally progressing.
I think that's an important point too about the word investment too when it comes to marketing, because on a previous episode of the podcast we talked to Brett Campbell from Klaxon, and it really is at a point now with marketing where you do need to make an investment, and we were talking about the amount of money that is spent, or the people's resistance to putting, the right amount of money into marketing. And it's like, well, it's like anything that you get in life, right? You get what you pay for. If you have a very small budget, then there's only so much you can do with that. But if you're willing to do your due diligence and, find, specialists that, have some results like yourself, Yarnly, in the chatbot space, and then make the investment required, then, there's no reason why your marketing shouldn't work. Like it's fairly straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, again, and Brett, those guys have bolted out of the gates the last 2 years. I remember judging them. They entered the social media marketer of the year. Did they? Oh no, they won the agency of the year. Yeah,
I was a judge. Best small agency. Yeah,
that's it. I judged that entry. They're great. So exactly perfect. I completely agree with all of that, because I think if you pay pittance, you get monkeys. But there is a talent pool issue as well. And I find probably with social media defaulted into, people, the challenge with social is that people are so familiar with it. Everyone has a point of view on how it should be done.
Yes.
Whereas actually when you look at it from a business and a marketing and strategic sales service, marketing, whatever bucket it goes into to service your needs as a business, that comes with strategy, knowledge, and expertise. You have to incorporate your data. You have to incorporate, that overarching marketing strategy. You can't just be solo focused. So there's a lot of pop-up small businesses that have currently being fueled probably by, the landscape of corporate Australia as well. People get that flexibility in work and they start their own businesses or whatever.
True.
Where there is needs and niches. But I think you have to just recognize, depending on your own goals, there is glass ceilings. And if you do want to push through to the next level and take your customer retention rate as well, we're not so much about, we drive a lot of new sales, but we're all about a retention strategy and customer base strategy. And I think that's where chat marketing can really help support that ongoing relationship with the consumer, because, it takes X amount to acquire a new lead, but the retention rate is a lot lower, and it's a lot more valuable when you put them in a journey that you can plot out. Then you incorporate a bot and chat marketing. You can actually communicate with them on their terms on a mobile device in Messenger. You don't have that kind of noisy world of email. So there's multiple layers there, but it's kind of coming back to that talent pool and people knowing what they don't know and people knowing what they do. So I'd really highly recommend do your due diligence and make sure that you get people that have seen the results and ring up the clients. If you're going to take on an agency, talk to them. Like it's just
doesn't have to be a guessing game.
Yeah, and I mean anyone that's transparent in regards to what they're doing and what they can achieve. Won't say that they're going to, sell your newborn. They're literally going to say that they're going to do X, Y, Z, and this is what we can deliver on.
That's right.
So that's kind of like the approach I would take.
Love it. Aoife, where can people find out more about yourself and or Yarnly?
Yeah, you can pop over to Yarnly.ai, which is our website. Or alternatively, you can add me on LinkedIn, which is Aoife Marie O'Connell. And we're very active on Instagram, which is Yarnly.ai. So yeah, pretty much in everything. So just reach out, DM, have a conversation with our own agency bot. We love that. And let us help you move into 2020.
Thank you so much for your time and all that chatbot gold.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So that's it for another episode. Thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate it. If you love the show, the greatest form of feedback you can give is to leave a review. It helps the show grow. It helps more people find it, and I would really appreciate that. Head over to anthonygmurphy.com where you'll find all the show notes and links for today's episode. And if you just want to stay up to date with me and see what I'm up to, head over to Instagram, Anthony G. Murphy, and say g'day. And I will talk to you in the next episode.